Welcome back, CNG 212. I'm glad you guys are getting pumped for the projects. I had a few questions about the projects, so let's address those after I take a look at what we're covering this week. Um, this is week 10. We are jumping into maintaining server installations. I think it's more revolving around golden images. And that relates, I guess, really well to our course project, Golden Images. Um, we want to look at, and this correlates well with the questions that I received over the weekend. Um, you know, before you start your project, or I would say even during your project, make sure you're saving often. If something works, save the server or save your client even, and then since they're virtual machines, they're just snapshots. That way, if something goes wrong, you can always roll back to what you had that worked. Um, and if you're second, third semester, fourth semester, and even continuing, I guess, um, snapshots in a virtual environment are lifesavers. It gives you a chance to roll back to an initial configuration that did work versus the one you just broke. Um, and that's really good to maintaining, a server installation, server image. Um, let's see. Another question for this week was, where can I go to get um, commands for PowerShell? I said I found a cheap book. I know the author, Lee Holmes, PowerShell. I saw the book for around $10. There were some other ones that were cheap. Amazon's PowerShell. $13 to rent it. I thought I saw a paperback to buy for like $4. You might have to do some snooping around for the PowerShell. But is there a best book out there? It really all depends, guys. There might be a PowerShell Bible book. I know a few of you have the Linux Bibles that kind of go in your pocket. Um, but for PowerShell, there might be another one like that. Um, but PowerShell really tries to incorporate um, scripting. I mean, just like Linux, where they're trying to, if you understand the basic setup of a function um, for computer programming, you're going to understand a deeper level of PowerShell that comes from that. If you're on the Larimer campus, basically I was using a PowerShell command just to add you guys every semester to that CNG lab as users. So yeah, there's not really one book. There are many. Let's see if I can do another search over here. PowerShell commands to. Um, so I just did a quick search. PowerShell commands to add DHCP to core. Hopefully it came up with some good search results. Yeah, there I see blue background. And really, it doesn't change that much from updates. But once again, when you start your project, make sure you come up with a plan before you go installing stuff. That's part of the project. Come up with that plan of action of how you're going to do this, and then as you're doing this, make sure it goes into um, your procedure, your method of procedures, your MOP basically, and that'll tell me how you did it. So I have a little bit faster insight into what is going on your systems as you build this. And really, if I just were to watch one of these videos, I just put, step 1, do this. Step 2, do this. This is how I did it. Step 3. this is how I did this, and that is just your installation to that as you go along. Where do I put that? Course by week. Oh, I didn't bring it up. Oh, let's go this way. Gosh darn it, it keeps on burying it below my active screen. So then I'd put all the steps I took in the work detail. Once again, if something, say let's see, I installed my server 2016, 2019, whatever you get your hands on, whatever. And if you have questions of where to go, I can help you guys with that. I think we got the access to the 2016 one, but I think we can even find a 2019 one. But when you get your client going, when you get your server going, right there, you have two virtual machines that you should take a snapshot and call those, like, I don't know, basic client, basic server. When you get another, if you install Core as a virtual machine, as soon as you get Core up and running, past the updates maybe, then do another backup of that, and then before you start working and start getting the DHCP feature on Core, I should say before, after you get DHCP working on your Core machine, then do another save and say Core updates plus DHCP. You change the name every time so you kind of know where you're at. In case something goes wrong in the future, you can always roll back to that old system image. And if something does break or something does not work that you found on the internet, and you basically copied step by steps, remember just to leave it in there, leave it in your work detail, but then you just strike it through. Say, okay, I tried this and it didn't work, because that leaves details for the next guy, so he can say, if you're trying to troubleshoot your server, he's like, oh, okay, I can see what John tried and it didn't work. I can see what he went with, and he got it running, so I have to find the error within here. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm glad a few of you guys are excited. The project's gonna be really cool. There should be perfect depth for 3 weeks. If you have any questions, reach out. Once again, that text by Lee Holmes, a good text, and I think I found it for like $4 out of a vendor for used. If you need any other advice, you can't go wrong with like a genuine Microsoft book. It's going to be a little bit more expensive, but basically Microsoft backed that book to get published. So Microsoft book, a little bit more expensive than the Lee Holmes book, but there is a PowerShell class. There was a PowerShell class that used to run at Front Range. I don't know if it moved to online, but if you really like the server environment or the Windows Server environment, take a look at that PowerShell class. It'd be more equivalent to taking like CNG 203 at the Larimer course, where you guys are really taking Linux and running script commands to control your servers. Good course if it's running. And that's it. I'll leave it at that for this week. Make sure to dive into those projects, come up with an idea. There's a lot to do with the course projects, so just kind of start with one and start working your way down.